Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Pharmacist Jacob Daudagwari. I'm a trained pharmacist and a forex trader. Today, I want us to discuss about trend line, how to draw trend line on various currency pairs. If you are a trader, you will agree with me that trend lines are very significant tools in uh, technical analysis, and they help in various forms. So somebody may ask, what exactly is this trend line? So let me just briefly define trend line, because we are going to deal with this topic in form of series. But for today, I just want us to learn how to draw trend lines on various currency pairs. But then let's just go ahead and define what trend line is all about. Now, trend line in forex trading, it is a straight line drawn on a price chart to help identify and visualize the direction of the market. Now, it is a fundamental tool in technical analysis used by traders to make informed decisions in the market. So we'll stop here, then I will take it subsequently from here, so that we'll discuss on the various types of trend line, you know, and how they look on the chart. So for today, I want us to just concentrate on how to draw this trend line, you know, on various currency pairs. So let's go to this currency pair AUDNZD, AUDNZD, uh, Australian dollar versus New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar versus New Zealand dollar. So let's clear our chart. Now, as a day trader, what I normally do when I open my chart, number one is to identify the trend of the market. That will help me in decision making. It will help me to put more effort in looking at where I'm going to place buy or where I'm going to place sell. So this is the first thing I do. So I go to daily time frame. So from the daily time frames, I shrink the market to look at where the market is at currently. Is it an uptrend or downtrend? So from the chart, uh, we can say that the market is currently on a downtrend. Initially, it was on uptrend, but it has broken the higher high. It's forming higher low. So we can consider this one as a downtrend. So from the daily time frame, this market we agree that is on a downtrend. This is higher high, higher low, and it has changed to lower high. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So we will draw our trend line from here on the daily time frame. Draw a trend line from here coming down, extend it to the future. This is how to draw a trend line. In order to draw a perfect trend line, you look at if it is a downtrend, you look at the peaks. At least you get two peaks and join them together. You have already formed a trend line. But if it is an uptrend, you look at the trough. At least having two trough, join them together, you have formed a trend line. So this trend line help us to identify the direction of the market. And in trading, there's this common and popular statement that make the trend your friend. We don't predict the market, but we follow the market, how the market plays out. We follow it up to look for opportunity. It's easier, to be able to leverage and come out successful. So in drawing trend line, the first thing we need to do is to identify the highest peak. As the highest peak is the number one thing that we need to identify. Then we now draw our trend line, extend it to the future. So from here, this is our highest peak, and this is another peak. So we join it from here to here. This higher or highest peak here is also referred to as the initial point of the change of trend, the initial point of the change of the trend. So from here we'll go to 4 hour time frame to see whether the daily time frame is in agreement with the 4 hour time frame. So as you can see, it is actually in agreement with the 4 hour time frame. So we draw our trend line by looking at this position where the trend line drawn from the daily time frame has touched. Then we start our trend line from here to coming down. So let's draw our trend line, and we start it from this highest peak where the trend line we drew from the daily time frame touch last. Extend it to the future, and boom, we have drawn our trend line. So this is our trend line, our trend line from the 4 hour time frame. Now we will go ahead and move to the current time frame, which is H1. Now daily and 4 hour time frame, they are the uh, long term trend of the market, and H1 is the current trend of the market. So as usual, we draw our trend line on the H1. We start it from the highest peak where the trend drawn from the 4 hour touch last. So we draw our trend line from here, extend it down to the future, and voila, we have gotten a very good, perfect trend line. This is how it is. I've drawn a very nice trend line from the 1 hour time frame. Now, after drawing it on the 1 hour time frame, which is the recent trend of the market, we'll now move to 15 minutes time frame to look for an entry. And because 1 hour time frame, for daily time frame, 4 hour time frame, and 1 hour time frame, they are all in agreement, we'll now look for opportunity to sell because this market is on a downtrend move. So here we just look for opportunity to sell. So this is the 15 minutes time frame where we normally look for opportunity to to enter the market. So from here we can also draw another trend line from here. Draw another trend line from here. We shall always draw a trend line. If there's any inner trend line that we need to draw, it should always start from where the last trend line has touched. This is a perfect way of drawing trend line. So this is another very good trend line that we have drawn from the 15 minutes time frame. We have drawn from the 15 minutes time frame. So I also want to believe that we can draw another trend line from here. So let's see. Yeah, I can pull out another trend line from here on the 15 minutes time frame. Pull out another trend line from here. Oh, okay. So I can pull out another trend line from here. It is perfect. Absolutely nice. So this is how to draw trend line on any currency pair. How to draw trend line on any currency pair. How to draw trend line on any currency pair. This is how it is. How to draw trend line from any currency pair is perfect. So, but here on the 15 minutes time frame, we can see that the candlestick has broken this 15 minutes trend line. This might most likely be a fake out. May retrace back in that year, then we look for a short position. So let's move to another currency pair and draw our trend line. So let's check NZD NZD NZD. So as usual, we go to the daily time frame. Daily time frame. We clear the try and clear the chart on daily time frame. If we shrink it towards the left, you will agree with me that we are on a downtrend. We are on a downtrend. So this is NZD chef. NZD chef. So we look for the highest peak to draw our trend line. So from here, this is our highest peak. It's the starting of the trend, downtrend. So we place our trend line there, draw it to the future to obtain a very good trend line. Draw it down to the future to get a very perfect trend line. So we extend it downward to extend it downward to the future. Extend it downward to the future. This is NZDCHF. This is NZDCHF. So, and this is daily time frame, which indicates that the market is on a downtrend move. So we go to the 4-hour time frame to check and see if there's a place we can draw another trend line to validate our claim. So we check 4-hour time frame. We can draw a trend line from here downward. Let's draw our trend line from here, bring it down. The market is still on a downtrend. You can see it's very easy to draw. Just look at the highest peak and join at least two peaks if it is a downtrend, or at least two troughs if it is an uptrend. So daily time frame and 4-hour time frame, they are all uh, trying to tell us that the market is on a downward movement. So we go to the current time frame, which is H1, to look at it before we take our decision. So from here, we can draw a counter trend line on the H1 time frame. Can draw a counter trend line from here, draw a counter trend line from here. This is perfect and very straightforward. This thing, it requires practice. The more you practice it, the more you perfect your skill. That's one good thing with trading. So on 1 hour time frame, it's telling us that the market is on an upward move, but daily and 4 hour time frame is telling us that the market is on a downward move. So we will sit carefully on our hands and wait how the market plays out. And this is a break of structure, retrace, and most likely come down aggressively. If it continues to go up, we will still sit down and watch what or how the market plays out. Basically, so this is how simple drawing trend line is. It's absolutely very simple and straightforward. So with this one, let us pause from here. I still remain pharmacist Jacob Dauda Akwari, a trained pharmacist and a forex trader. Please, if today is your first time of coming across my video, kindly subscribe, smash the notification button, like it, so that YouTube can recommend this video to as many that may desire it all over the world as possible. So we go to 15 minutes time frame and look for our entry. I think that's all. So let's call it a day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and see you some other times. Bye.